Welcome back. Jason Priester, allclemsontigers.com, part of the Clemson Maven multimedia platform. Once again, here today to talk a little recruiting with you guys before we get started. Remind everybody, if you would please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It would be very much appreciated. As most know by now, Mike Matthews, 5-star receiver out of Parkview there in Georgia, committed to Tennessee on Wednesday night. Not much of a surprise. It was kind of playing out that way over the past, the last 2 weeks of his recruitment or so. It was starting to get easy to kind of read the tea leaves, so to speak. So not a big shock there. You still got to be very happy with what Clemson has at receiver in this class with Bryant Wesco, TJ Moore, two very highly rated players, two plug-and-play type guys. Those are two guys that can come in and make an immediate impacts. Unfortunately, just won't see that impact for another year. I think it helps add another dynamic to the wide receiver room that Clemson's kind of lacked in the past couple of years. Yeah, sure, it hurts to miss out on a guy like Mike Matthews. You would be better with him than without him. But, having guys like Wesco and Moore, it eases that hurt a lot. The number coming in was 2. I think that's been pretty well publicized. Matthews was going to be an oversigned, so to speak. They kind of started out recruiting him as a safety. Then, after a while, he wants to play wide receiver, so they kind of turned in them recruiting him as a wide receiver. He was one of 6 receivers that visited for the big official visit weekend. So now that he is committed, I think Clemson's done with those 6 guys that were here that weekend. I know Alex Taylor's still out there uncommitted. He announces on the 29th. Do not expect him to pick Clemson. Don't think he's a take any longer. Having said that, I'm not convinced Clemson's done at wide receiver in this class. Not saying they're going to add a third. I just think at some point they make the effort to add a third. Losing, Will Taylor going to baseball full time, that kind of opens up another spot. And if you find a slot type guy that you like, you can go after him now. So if Clemson finds that receiver that they really like, would not shock me at all to see them try and add another player at that position. You got 2 bigger body guys and, outside type receivers in Wesco and Moore already on board. You don't need another one of those types. I do think it would have to be a slot, smaller body type guy, a la Mike Matthews, Braylon Staley, somebody like that. Anyways, that kind of closes the door on Mike Matthews. Not a lot of suspense by the time Wednesday rolled around. Corian Gipson, on the other hand, still a lot of suspense out there. He announces on Saturday, 5 p.m. Gipson is a guy that I thought could possibly end his recruitment while he was visiting Clemson during the spring game. I thought he was kind of that close to committing at that time. He was a guy I thought that could potentially shut it down and jump on board after the big official visit weekend. Obviously didn't play out that way. He's from Texas, Lancaster, Texas. Lot of pressure on him just to stay in state and go to Texas. Texas has got some commitments from some of his buddies. If you follow Gipson on Twitter, he retweets a lot of that stuff. His buddies that are already on board, committed to Texas. Not sure exactly how this one's going to play out yet. I know there is a lot of Texas buzz right now. I'm not sure I'm buying it. Definitely not buying delayed Ohio State buzz. Still think this has been a Clemson-Texas battle. And when Mike Reed is the guy heading up a recruitment, for one of these cornerbacks, never count him out, man. I think he's one of the best in the business. not only as a coach but as a recruiter. There's a lot. There, if you're a cornerback prospect out there, that's Mike Reed gives you a lot of incentive of wanting to come play for him. He's put a lot of guys into the league. There's no question about your development or those kind of things. So we'll see how it plays out. I know there's a lot of buzz, for Texas right now. I'm just not sure I'm buying it. I thought Mike Matthews would be one of those, or could possibly be one of those commitments that, we wouldn't know until, right before the announcement or the day of the announcement. That one didn't turn out that way, but Gipson's is kind of turning out that way. Just not a lot of concrete information out there. I've talked to a couple people a day, and I've kind of gotten conflicting information. Let's put it that way. The stuff I've heard is kind of conflicted. But kind of reading between the lines on some of the stuff I've heard, I still lean towards Clemson here. I've said it all along that I was confident that Gipson was going to be a part of this class. I'm not as confident now as I was 2-3 weeks ago, but I'm still leaning that way. Just kind of reading between the lines on a couple of things I've heard today. Tomorrow, Saturday, 5 o'clock, we'll know for sure. We'll have you covered. AllClemsonTigers.com. See you next time.